Welcome to The Current by TreasureCoast.com, where we discuss interesting people, places, and happenings on Florida's Treasure Coast.
Do you want to start by just giving an intro to who you are?
Sure. Well, and thank you for bringing me on. I always love conversations with you, and I appreciate what you're doing in the community. I think you're amazing, and I appreciate you always being a support. So thank you for that. I came to this county in 1985 as a 14-year-old, and there was nothing here, absolutely nothing. I mean, this is my almost 40th. It is my 40th year. I've been here for 40. I just turned 54. So, I've been here for 40 years. Wow. I've seen a lot of growth and change in the area. There was absolutely nothing here when I came here. And I lived in Port St. Lucie for 30 some years. And I moved to Fort Pierce in 2020, actually right at COVID. I bought up here, and I love Fort Pierce too. But I've been very much involved in the community. I love being immersed in the community. It's just, there's no greater feeling than to feel part of a community. You know what I mean? And to have people know you and be able to help so many people in so many different ways. And I founded I've been in business development for 20 years, almost 20. And I've helped several different businesses along the way to expand and grow, which is a great feeling. I love business development too. And Martini Network actually was birthed from a need, right? In the community, all we really had were join groups or philanthropic groups. There was really not just a happy hour where people could gather, where they didn't have to join with an annual fee or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So my friend Melissa and I decided we were going to start this group, and we called it Martini Network, right? How appropriate, happy hour group. And I had no idea, that it would still be around like 17 years later. But it was really interesting because we initially did everything for free. And Melissa dropped after about the third year, but I just had to keep it going. But initially, we would have like 100 and some people just showing up, right? Because there wasn't anything else, I mean, now we have so many incredible groups. We have Music Business Club. We have, oh my gosh, Shameless Promotions has been around. They're not a happy hour group, but there's so many incredible groups. Anna Valencia Tiller's been running a women's luncheon for 8 years at the time of this video. So things just kind of, spiraled out from there. And it's just still going today, which is really exciting. So, and we meet once a month now. I used to do one in every county. So I would do 3 events a month, one in Indian River, one in Martin, and one in St. Lucie every single month. And you can imagine back before social media was big, and it was like, everything was email blast, right? And, but we made it happen. We'd have, so many people show up, and I wish I could put a number to the business that has come out of that group in the last 17 years. I'm sure it would be millions and millions and millions of dollars, which is exciting. And I tried to give it up after 10 years. They wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's just a great, now there's one a month, and I rotate them between Martin and St. Lucie counties, and it's open networking. It's not a one-of group. Everybody's welcome. I love the inclusivity of the group. I mean, we might have, 2 or 3 roofers. Like I'm director of business development right now for Nice Roofing. It's a local roofing company, and I do have roofers show up, and I feel like, there is really no competition. There's enough work for everybody. And, someone might like your personality better than mine. And I feel like people should have those kind of options. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. I think that's a big driving force, or I guess it's a commonality with a lot of people I talk to is, and I do resonate with it, where, competition really, I mean, it's there, but it's also, the pie's not fixed really in any regard. Whatever industry you're in, there's enough business for everybody. And at the end of the day, if you're focusing on the value you're providing to your colleagues and your clients, I mean, you're going to be all right.
Yeah, just focus on serving people, and I do collaborate a lot with other groups and stuff. I know some groups find other groups to be competition, and I don't feel that way. I'm not. Eventually, I'll have to pass the torch one day of Martini Network over to somebody else. And I feel like collaborating, like Port St. Lucie Business Club and Nicholas and Michelle Scalise and Danny Velasquez, we do so many things together. We do educational seminars together. We do a lot of things together. We support nonprofits together. And you've even come out and, come on tours with me at different shelters and things like that. And we also now are doing what's called a business resources workshop. So I don't think small business owners really know the amount of resources that are free to them that are available in our county. And so that's kind of a mission of mine now through the Martini Network, is to create a monthly business resources workshop. So I bring in the Small Business Development Center, which we're so blessed to have a Small Business Development Center. Not every county has that. And the SBA, Small Business Administration, Better Business Bureau, SCORE mentors. Like, you as a business owner could go and get a free business coach from SBDC. You could have a SCORE mentor for free, someone from your industry who can mentor you. And I mean, that alone could be thousands of dollars out of a business owner's pocket just to have a business coach. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So there's a lot of resources that I don't think people even know are available to them. So Martini Network, and that's free. I bring those people together. Like Nicholas will actually be teaching how to create a custom reel, and he's like the master of that. So I want to bring in those people that do these great things, and we add that in addition to all of those business resources, and it's free to the business owners. So I really would love to get that information out there.
Yeah, that's a really cool point. I mean, where you kind of have different things that you specialize in too. We had Nicholas and Danny on the podcast probably a couple months ago, and it was a really cool conversation because they do come from that place of collaboration. And it's interesting because they do have a very good, Nicholas, you can tell with their social media content, like the reels, the short form video and that kind of stuff, you can tell they're very good at it. And so I can see why there's a good symbiosis, I guess, if you're helping work with them on different resources that some of the businesses in there might be able to capitalize on, while they're maybe looking at newer tech, I guess you would call it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they bring a whole different dynamic in,
Right.
Nicholas and Michelle are actual internet marketers. Like this is their jam. I mean, they do that. And so to bring that in, you have to have a mix of the old and the new, because there are still people that want you to walk in, they want to meet you. They want to know who you are. They want that contact that if something happens, it's not some, 1-800 number in the ether and there are guys in, Uganda somewhere answering the phone. They want someone like they can walk in to you or call you or text you and feel that connection with you to do business.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Do you know, like, for the people that have joined Martini Network or who have worked with you through business development, are there a handful of resources that you think small business owners can utilize? I mean, just off the top of your head, just because you mentioned the coach, and I know we talked about that before, and I'm interested to hear if there's anything that are there, like your go-tos, like a few that that you can introduce to people and they say, oh yeah, that's something I didn't even realize. And it's, like you said, going to be thousands of dollars in your pocket.
Oh, for sure. So the Small Business Development Center right here at Indian River State College, Tom Kindred runs that department. He has for many, many years. And they have so many resources there. You reach out to Small Business Development Center and they will help you from the beginning to the end. If you just have a thought, oh my gosh, I would like to start a business, you would go to Small Business Development Center, whether you haven't started yet or you're already 5 years into your business or whatever, you can go there if you're a small business owner and you can find resources. from a business coach, someone who's been in your industry, that can help guide you on your path or answer questions or mentor you. Also, they'll run reports, like industry reports that would cost you thousands of dollars that you can get for free because you're going through SCORE, Small Business Development Center, SBDC. And they just have so many resources. And you can also access some of those resources through the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. So Teresa Aronson, the CEO, president of the chamber, has brought in a lot of those resources. They're like an extension of the Small Business Development Center. So they can either go to the chamber or go directly to the Small Business Development Center. And another great one are SCORE mentors. And I actually am in the process of getting certified to be a SCORE mentor / teacher. So that's super exciting. I'm like this close. And that was great to be invited to do that is a great honor. But they have actual mentor, like retired people, which is not retired people anymore. There are people like me who are still working that will sit in and co-mentor people and help them. And the two people that I actually helped so far, but left there like, oh my gosh, like now I have a new direction because we come out of the box. It's not my business. So it's easy for me to go, okay, this, and this. And it comes in from somewhere, the ether, the divine, call it God, call it whatever you want to call it. It comes in, it comes out of my mouth. I tell them just write stuff down. But the SCORE mentors, they are a team of people that when you apply for SCORE mentor, you just tell them your industry, what you're looking to do, where you're at in your business, and they will help you with whatever, wherever you're stuck, they can help you. And they'll match you with a mentor that is in your industry, which is priceless. I mean, if you had to go and get a business coach, there are coaches that are upward of $10,000, $20,000 a year.
Yeah, easy.
So, yeah, I mean, there are some coaches that are $100,000 a year more. So to have access to those two resources alone are invaluable. And then you have the SBA, so the U.S. Small Business Administration, where if they need funding or things like that, they can help them with different funding sources. And the SBDC, back to Small Business Development Center, they can help with women-owned business, minority-owned business, getting those certifications. They can also help with government contracts. So one of the companies that came to one of my business resources workshops in Port St. Lucie, he actually got with the SBDC and he got involved with the government contracts, and he's raving about how great it has been for his business to actually get government contracts. That could be huge for a small business,
Yeah, that's a really interesting angle. And I'm glad that you pointed out initially, sometimes, as a small business owner, it's so easy to get caught up, and sometimes you just need a fresh perspective. But especially when you have a perspective from people who have been there, you've been in the business development space, or you're working with a coach and they've got maybe a higher level view of what you're going through. Because you're right, sometimes it is like you're stuck. You feel like stuck, or you're kind of going through the motions, and like you have to get over that plateau or that speed bump. And then you need like that eureka moment.
Yeah. I mean, and it could just be one little thing. Like I was dealing with a woman and she was so caught on, I want to be online. Well, we all want to be online, right? To millions of people, but it doesn't just happen like that, right? You have to spend a lot of money to get in front of a lot of people to do that. And there were just some little plugs that we talked about, little things that, adjusting her pricing to start in the area, just some little things that we talked about. But we got off the call and she was just explosive, ready to move charge forward with her business. And that's sometimes all we need is that you can do it, but let's tweak, right? And pivot and start in a space where you're at, right?
Right. How are these involved with, we were talking about the business resource workshops. Is that something that do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So I'm doing those once a month. Currently, IRSC and Fort Pierce is working with me. They are the host venues. So I have one actually at the time of this recording. I have one tomorrow. That's in Vero Beach, and then in Stewart in May, and then back to Port St. Lucie Pruitt campus in June. And I bring in as many resources as possible. I'll generally have one outside speaker, like I'll have one business coach speaking in the Stewart, and I have Nicholas speaking, obviously, for the reels. But generally, it's bringing in the SBA, the SBDC, the SCORE mentors, all of those resources that people would have to individually go to each one of them. I bring them all into one space so they have the opportunity to hear what's available, and then they can ask those people questions and then figure out how they want to get involved, or if they want a SCORE mentor or a coach or both. I mean, all of these resources are available to everyone.
Yeah, that's great. Can people see that's on the Martini Network website for the calendar of those events?
Yeah. So it'll actually be on the Martini Network Facebook group. The events will always be posted to the top. So the networking events are posted at the top, and so are they're kind of pinned to the top of the group. And that's open to everybody. It's free. They can come there. And the Martini Network events are only $10 cover. They have to do cash because credit cards today are nuts. But you could just come to the events. Those are pinned, and the business resources workshops are free, and they're also pinned to the top of the group. So as the next one is coming, that'll be pinned up to the top of that group.
Yeah, that's great. We'll put the links for definitely for the Facebook group and all that kind of stuff when we publish it. What else did we want to touch on? Is that most of the meat of it? Because I know we were gonna get into like the animal shelters and the advocacy in that regard, but
yeah. Well, the Martini Network also has a local business directory, which I would love for people to go look at. If they want to join it, it's super inexpensive. It's $100 for the year or $10 a month for a small business, and it's very robust. It could actually be a website, but that would be a great place. I really would love the community to start looking there. We have some valuable, incredible businesses there. And it's a great place if you're like, oh, who do I call for electric? Who do I call for a chef? Who do I call for these things? They can go there and find, pretty reputable local businesses that they can utilize. And that is free for people to use the directory in the community. And it's a very nominal fee for business owners to be a part of it. And that's martininetwork.biz, martininetwork.biz.
.biz.
But we can definitely talk about animal advocacy. It's one of my favorite things to talk about.
I'm sure, yeah, because we had met at the, what is it now? It was the Humane Society of St. Lucie County. Now it's the Fort Pierce Adoption Center.
So, yeah, that was one of the humane societies. It's over on Savannah Road in Fort Pierce. So that's the Fort Pierce Animal Adoption Center. They have lots of animals there. And if you're in the city of Fort Pierce, that's where your animals would go. But they have so many beautiful animals there, lots of dogs, some beautiful cats. And my favorite is the Dogs and Cats Forever, which I'm still going to get you over there to go to. They are, they've been around since the 1980s. I want to say 1984, 86. They have been a no-kill shelter the entire time. So they don't put animals down, even animals that they have a dog in there that is untouchable except by the trainer that goes in there, and they will not put that dog down. They will let it live out its life. And they have an incredible space. I believe Howard Stern Foundation is one of the legacy donors there. And they don't receive any city money. They don't receive any county funds. They rely solely on all of us helping out, whether it's volunteering to help with the animals, walking dogs, playing with cats, bringing in food. Donations of money are always welcome. they just need so much, and they do so much with very little. And so that is the shelter that I would really love to highlight if we could.
Yeah, we can include a link to them as well in the published post, because I know with a lot of, especially with nonprofits or community organizations where they don't get any municipal funds, it can be difficult. You're relying really on the public to donate their time or money or attention. Sometimes it helps if people see them online and they like or share a post. That can be the difference between a pet getting adopted or not. We had the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast on, and they had mentioned that just social attention is just so much more important, because it wasn't a thing, not long ago.
Yeah, it's true. And I used to go into the Humane Society, St. Lucie County, and I now go into the Dogs and Cats Forever, and I'll take pictures. I love to just go in and play with the cats and, visit with the dogs and just take a photo. Going there and just visiting and taking photos and creating that awareness is so valuable to them. And then they can even use those photos on their social medias and stuff. They can, or we can share photos with them, and their social media their person is actually a volunteer that helps them with their social media, because they don't have the money. Like, everything that they have on is volunteers.
Yeah, that's awesome that there's someone that's willing to give that level of expertise in the social media realm where everything's changing. I'm sure that's the last thing. A lot of business owners, it's like you're kind of forced into being a content creator. And I'm sure for like a nonprofit, you don't want to be worried about what the new thing is or what the new platform is. You want to take care of animals. That's what you want to do at the end of the day. And
they need all the help they can get.
Yeah. Well, and like you had mentioned too, I was really taken aback by how many, when I had met you at the Fort Pierce Animal Adoption Center, I was taken aback at how many just really nice, good-looking animals were just there, and they just needed a home. I mean, they were sweet. They seemed clean. They seemed, well cared for. They seemed ready to, I'm sure there's maybe a disconnect if they're not as good with other animals, or, maybe they need more TLC if they're older or something. But there's a lot of really great pets that are there if people are looking for them.
Right. And, I'm an adopt, don't shop kind of person. And, to the breeders out there, no offense, but I feel like there's so many incredible animals. Like when I was with the Humane Society for a period there, they had these two absolutely gorgeous Maine Coon cats come in. Somebody just brought them in, dropped them off. We're talking thousands of dollars worth of cat. And I mean, it doesn't matter. The breeds are ending up in the shelters. If you're looking for a breed, go to a shelter first, because you may find them. We find bullies in the Dogs and Cats Forever shelter. I've seen Persian cats come through. Like, you can't imagine the gorgeous animals that for whatever reason, somebody lost their job. Or I think the thing that burns me the most is when they're like, oh, this cat is old or this dog is old, I'm going to drop it off. I mean, shame on you people. And I am saying it. Shame on you. You shouldn't have any animals ever again if you're going to do that. But, they're with us for their lifetime. And I mean, as they get older, that's all part of the process. We wouldn't want someone dropping us off at a shelter when we got to be old, or, here, take care of my mom or dad for me forever now because I don't want them anymore. They're old, right? So yeah, that's a passion of mine. It's a trigger.
It's gay. I'm glad that we're bringing out the passion, though. That's important.
Yeah, there's so many amazing animals that are in shelters, and to me, it doesn't make any sense to go and buy a breed when you can go and find them. I've seen huskies come through Dogs and Cats Forever, shepherds. I mean, just beautiful animals coming through there that people just discard them, or, they lost their home and they don't have a home for them anymore. So you don't know what the reasons are, but there's so many incredible animals that you can go to a shelter and find an animal to bring home and be your baby. I have three cats, all are rescues.
Oh, that's great. Did you get them from the Humane Society, or were they just from different places?
I did. I actually fostered a mom and 6 kittens about 3 years ago. Someone discarded them in a crate in July and left them behind a Dunkin' in St. Lucie West by the dumpster. And thank God somebody found them and brought them to the Humane Society of St. Lucie County. And I was a foster mom for 5 weeks to the whole family. And I ended up keeping mom and 1 baby. I kept the orange boy and I kept his mom, and I got the rest of them adopted. And then from there, that just created the monster, because now I'm like, and then my other baby, my newest one, Fiona, I said the only way I would take another cat was it had to be an orange female, because they're super rare. And so, of course, I was at the Humane Society for a meeting, and they were like, Veronica, we had an orange female come in. And I said, well, she has to be a juvenile or a baby, because my female would lose her mind. And sure enough, here was this little thing in the cage, and she reached up and touched my face like a human. She just touched me like this. I went, oh my God.
Signed, sealed,
so
delivered.
Of course, she's living with me now, too. That was it. So now I'm 3. I'm done.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't want to be the crazy cat.
Yeah, that's awesome. We fostered quite a bit. We actually, our cat now was from a litter that I guess they were abandoned, or maybe the mother had gotten into an accident or something, and we had fostered him. And so that's one that we have now. We probably have had her since she was 4 or 5 weeks old.
Oh, Fiona was screaming at me, so she has to be on the show too. Do you want to say hi to Josh?
She heard you giving her a shout out. She wanted to make sure she got her screen time, right?
She did. She needs the attention, but that's okay. Awesome. I wanted a cuddler, and I got a cuddler. That's
great. What do you think? Is there anything else that you want to touch on before we finish up?
I just want to thank you for everything that you do. I think that the way that you help the community connect, and the way that you spotlight locals, I just think everything you do is amazing. And I want to thank you for having me on, and for letting me rant about animals, and for visiting shelters with me and doing all these things. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate that. And I'm humbled to be able to share a community with you and all these people that are in our network and in our groups. And, it's just, the Treasure Coast is a great place that I want to try not to take for granted.
It is amazing. Yeah. It is an amazing place to live.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Veronica. I appreciate it. And hopefully we can talk again soon.
Thank you so much, Josh. Have a great day.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Current by TreasureCoast.com. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Follow us on social media, or visit TreasureCoast.com for local events, tips, and news. Have a guest or topic you'd love to hear on the show? Let us know at TreasureCoast.com. Until next time, keep riding the current and enjoying everything the Treasure Coast has to offer. See you soon.